Good morning and welcome to Football League World TV. My name is Ned Holmes and today I'm joined by my colleague Billy Mulley to assess the best of the transfer business done in the EFL so far this summer. Billy, how are you doing this morning, mate?
Yeah, doing very well. It's been sort of a slow moving window so far, but I think we're starting to hit that sort of period where transfers are getting done and completed quite quickly. And as you're saying, it's quite hard to keep up with some of the deals because it's just hit that sort of rapid stage.
Yeah, absolutely. We've sort of got that mesh at the moment of the free transfers and sort of those free agents still being done and a lot of permanent deals as well. As you say, the summer window in full flow now, and me and you, Billy, are going to be highlighting who we believe are the best 5 EFL signings so far and why. That there's sort of 2 that we picked of our own, and then 1 that we ended up sort of having a shared opinion of. I'm sure, obviously, as these sort of things always do, it will raise some controversy. So for any EFL fans out there watching, make sure you get in the comments to let us know who you think should be included, and don't be afraid to barrage Billy if he doesn't pick the player that you want. Before we get started, of course, a reminder, please do like and share this video and subscribe to Football League World TV on YouTube. Well, Billy, we're going to get started with my first pick, and it's one a little close to home for you, I think. I've gone for Cal Naismith, obviously moved from from Luton rather, to Bristol City on a free transfer. It was a move, a signing that really, I think, took everyone by surprise, including, of course, Luton Town, that sort of famous, quite spiky response after they felt like a bit of underhand tactics from Bristol City. But ultimately, the Robins got their man, Billy. I mean, obviously, I think it's 2 teams had worse defensive records in the Championship than Bristol City last season, and given that attacking talent they've got on up top, obviously they really need to strengthen that back 3. And bringing in Luton's player this season as they reach the playoffs, a player that I think got on a lot of people's team of the seasons, particularly, Championship team of the seasons, particularly if they were playing that sort of back 3 setup, and a real coup on a free transfer. He obviously also fixed the back 3 that Nigel Pearson is really keen to play, and a leader as well, and leadership, something certainly that's been lacking from the Bristol City starting 11 in the last few seasons under Pearson. But also, I think why I wanted to really include this on my list is I think it was a statement signing, and one that made everyone sit up and take notice that Bristol City, after a pretty underwhelming sort of 18 months under Nigel Pearson, you'd say they mean business now, and it's probably a signing that will encourage other players to think, you know what, maybe there is something exciting going on at Bristol City. Billy, it wasn't a player you picked on your list, perhaps understandably, but a player I know that you're a big fan of. What did you make of this signing?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's an incredible addition at Bristol City. As you say, caught the EFL by surprise. It caught me as a Luton fan by surprise. A really, really strong season. I think there was, a little bit of Premier League interest as well. They had them on his radars. So the fact that Bristol City have managed to secure his services for the upcoming season, I think, as you say, I think it transforms their chances of succeeding single-handedly with just one signing. As you say, it can sort of trigger other players to take note. And if Bristol City are interested in them, they might start to think that Nigel Pearson is building something worthy, something of note for the upcoming campaign. So it's an understandable move as well. Coming to 30 years old, a 3-year contract, I think it was. It does make financial sense for him. And, you've got to consider these players, a really good financial package at Bristol City undoubtedly will be. So I think it has the makings to be a brilliant addition. Of course, a massive loss to Luton. But for Bristol City, as you say, defensively, very, very competent. Luton originally signed him as a winger. He's played as a wing back, played as a holding midfielder. I think he's really found his home as a left centre back, and I think that's definitely where I see him playing for Bristol City. But more than his defensive abilities and ability to read the game, I think it's that his ability to progress up the pitch. And he can split midfield with passes, as we've seen last season for a couple of the goals that we scored. It started with his desire and his braveness to get on the ball and break those midfield lines. progressing, his dribbling ability as well. It really, really stands out. And as I've said a lot already, he's a player that will leave a void at Luton. Nathan Jones will be eager to address that. I think they've gone part way to do that with Alfie Doughty already. But looking at Bristol City, you just can't you can't not get excited about that because of what he's done. Luton's player of the season. Everything about Cal Naismith is sort of top class. So all the best to him, but not too much when he comes back to Kenilworth Road.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Bristol City will be hoping that they can look back in perhaps at the end of the season or a few seasons' time and pick that out as sort of a pivotal moment in their season. Well, Cal Naismith, a deal that got done early in the window. Billy, your first sort of pick, your only pick in the Championship was a sort of more recent deal. Freddie Woodman left Newcastle, signed for Preston North End on a permanent deal. Just talk us through why he's on this list for you.
I think he's still got so much to give in the Championship. We've seen, well, I wouldn't even say in glimpses, we've seen a full season of Freddie Woodman at Swansea where he was unbelievable. He tipped to go on to do great things, and rightly so, because his reflexes, his reading of the game. He's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world, but he's a command and presence in the box. All point towards this being a real top signing. And Daniel Iverson going back to his parent club Leicester, would have been uncertainty about the calibre of goalkeepers they would have been able to attract. And I even would have thought that Freddie Woodman on a loan deal would have been a very good signing, but the fact that they've managed to secure his services on a 3-year deal, I think is an incredible bit of business and something that again could help transform Preston, because they're going to be ambitious. Players will see, current players that maybe don't have clubs or Preston are currently scouting might see the ambition, because this is a very, very ambitious signing. I believe they might see this ambition and then sort of want to be on this upward journey as well. I think Lowe's got a real job on his hands in terms of what he wants to do this year, but it's an exciting project, and I think Freddie Woodman coming on board is going to be incredible for them. Iverson on a permanent deal would have been ideal as well, but I think Freddie Woodman, he's on that sort of level of player that will certainly help them progress. And if Preston do succeed, and if this season can be a good one for them, he's somebody that could operate in a higher level in the future. So he's not just a signing for the here and now. He's somebody that sort of can match the ambitions of Preston, because they will be ambitious under Ryan Lowe. I think as well, modern day goalkeeper, you have to be good with your feet, very, very comfortable, very, very composed with the ball at his feet. Passing range, he's really, really got it all and ticks a lot of boxes. So yeah, a real top signing for Preston. And as I say, he's somebody that can single-handedly transform what this transfer window will be about for Preston.
Yeah, absolutely. Some comments flooding in support of what you're saying, Billy. Andy Hughes says, Woodman is a top signing on a 3-year deal, especially as it was talked about only being on loan initially. And EFL Lover says, agreed on Woodman. What a signing that is for Preston. And I'm in full agreement as well, Billy. I mean, I think a phenomenal player at Championship level in the past, and an England age group international from under 16 to under 21, still just 25. And for a goalkeeper particularly, you'd expect his best football really to be ahead of him. And obviously, you touched upon it, that goalkeeper position, problematic for Preston. And they could, you feel, have been drawn into a bit of a transfer tug of war over keeper targets with the likes of Middlesbrough looking already, but they've struck already. And what a signing it looks in Freddie Woodman. We'll move on to our third Championship signing on the list then, and this is one of mine. It's John Swift, the midfielder, left Reading, of course, at the end of his contract, signed for West Bromwich Albion on a free transfer. I mean, for me, a real eye-catching one. I mean, midfield creativity is such an issue for West Brom last season, despite bringing in Alex Rowe. I think none of their midfielders got more than 2 assists, and only Moet got more than 2 goals. Swift really helps to solve that problem, and just such a strong start to this sort of rebuild that was needed at West Brom for me. 11 goals, 13 assists for a pretty poor Reading team last season, and he should help sort of activate, if you will, that some of their attacking talent further forward that struggled last year. Obviously, DK was out with injury, but the likes of him, Carlin Grant, Grady Diangana should only benefit from a player like John Swift pulling the strings. I think he could be a real sort of formidable midfield for a few years to come, with the likes of Jason Malumbi and Alex Moa. And I think really caught my eye as a sort of, a player linked to Premier League clubs so regularly, but Albion land him early to sort of kickstart their window and really sort of, again, we've talked about it, about sending a message out, but it's this message of, Steve Bruce and West Brom sort of really mean action. We've had a few more comments in then from EFL Lover. He said, Swift, a good signing on a free, excellent in a poor Reading team. He'll add to West Brom's creativity, and that's saying Daryl DK will love Swift. Billy, was this a transfer that caught your eye?
It was, and I completely agree with that last comment there, that Daryl DK will love Swift. I can see them two forming a real strong partnership. Of course, Swift has been known for the goals he scored some crackers, but he's also that real creative option that can unlock defences at will, and I think that's something that Daryl DK will thrive upon, and perhaps even more strikers if they do add to their forward line. I think with John Swift as well, he just adds another dimension to that midfield, because they've got Jake Livermore, obviously a technically gifted, physical midfielder that has been operating within West Brom for years and doing a consistent job. Maybe didn't have the best of seasons last time out, but he's certainly somebody within the dressing room and again on the pitch that could play a big part. Alex Moat sort of providing a creative service, but from a bit deeper, sort of a smooth operating midfield. Again, didn't have the best of seasons, but alongside someone like John Swift, he sort of West Brom career could be revitalised. And then Jason Malumbi, it's all about a real determined, gritty operator that's also got good quality on the ball. So I think there's a real balance within that midfield at the moment. So John Swift coming in, I think, only adds to that sort of diversity within that midfield position. And he's somebody that could operate on the left wing, on the right wing, as a number 10, slightly deeper if need be. So he does offer a little bit of versatility if needed. So yeah, he's definitely one that caught my eye. But yeah, just about edged by the other selections, I think.
We dropped down, Billy, into League One for our next selection. It's the only one on this 5-person list that we both selected. It's Ben Thompson, of course, the midfielder, left Gillingham to join Peterborough United on a free transfer. What is it about this signing, Billy, that sort of made you think it was among the best made in the EFL this summer?
Well, I think he's a player that's at championship level as it is. I know sort of leaving Millwall, it might not suggest that he still has that, but I think he's shown in glimpses at Millwall that he could be an absolute top quality championship midfielder. And the fact that, he went to Gillingham, caught a lot by surprise, but repaid that by some excellent performances. His manager obviously spoke a lot about him being too good for the level and expecting this sort of high level interest. I think naturally championship clubs could have come in for him as well, which makes this a real coup for Peterborough. Obviously Peterborough themselves will be hoping to get back into the championship, and signings like this are not going to harm their chances by any means. But he's definitely a player that's got so much about him. Again, a permanent deal, so he's somebody that can do something in League One in the here and now, and in the higher level if that's going to be the case for Peterborough once again. But he offers so much, ticks a lot of boxes, relentless presser of the ball, can carry the ball forwards, versatile as well, prone to scoring a few goals as well. So it's a real impressive signing, and that they're going to have to readapt to League One football again. But I think once that they've sort of had a full pre-season, players like Ben Thompson will start to shine and have a really promising season.
Yeah, I think you hit on it perfectly there when you said, for me, he's on this list because he's a player that's capable of sort of providing sort of top 6 level championship performances. and they haven't come too consistently, of course, in recent seasons. And he was sort of shifted out at Millwall for a reason, but certainly a really popular figure there. And he regained his confidence under Neil Harris at Gillingham, and I think Peterborough United are sort of really going to benefit from that. As you said, Posh, a team with sort of plenty of goals in them at League One level, as we've seen, but his determination and grit, as well as that technical ability, going to be key. And as you talked about, obviously their first focus is going to be on sort of getting back out of League One this term, but adding Thompson to the squad a little longer term will mean if they do get back to the Championship, it will already sort of be a more Championship level squad, which I think is something they sort of struggled with last season. So important as well, I think, for a relegated team to make some impressive signings to sort of, I guess, turn the momentum around ahead of the new season, so they don't head into next term with any sort of relegation hangover. Instead, there's plenty of excitement, and I think we both agree that Ben Thompson has provided that. Billy, then on our list, and our only League Two representative, it's Hiram Boateng. Went from MK Dons to Mansfield Town on a free transfer, a move I think that surprised plenty of people, but a good surprise, Billy.
Yeah, if you're a Mansfield Town fan, then you're going to be very, very happy with this player. Again, that sort of a theme of this, that he's beyond League Two level. Incredibly technically gifted. A real good left foot on him. Somebody that links the play very well. We've seen that as high as the playoffs last year. I think he had a really good game against Wickham. I think MK Dons fans may have been anticipating that he could have stayed, but the fact that he's gone to League Two, I don't think too many Dons fans would have predicted that and would have processed that. But yeah, a top signing for Mansfield. You sort of look at the squad at the moment. Longstaff's going to be has departed, gone back to his parent club. So the midfield position is something that will naturally need bolstering. And Boateng is someone that can do that. He can hold the play. He can play slightly more advanced as a number 10, but predominantly you want him in that central midfield position. And I think he's somebody that, again, sort of this notion of single-handedly transforming the windows for these respective clubs. I think this is another one that sort of follows suit, because it shows ambition, and it shows that Mansfield are going to be there or thereabouts again in terms of their recruitment. Here in Boateng, somebody that could have been, top half of the League One. Also thought watching him that day in the playoff semi-final that he could have even been Championship. That he was that good. But yeah, that just makes it so much more impressive for a club like Mansfield to secure his services. And again, permanent deal. It gives them the scope to use him in the here and now and grow with the ambitions of the club. So top signing at League Two level. I was very close to selecting one of the Bradford duo of Romany Critchlow and Harry Chapman as well. Also, Danny Hilton was a good shout, but I think it has to go to Hiram Boateng, given what he can do at this football club going forward.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, particularly on that sort of, I was really shocked and surprised to see him drop down to League Two level of play. Obviously, sort of used by Liam Manning so regularly last season into the playoffs, as you say, and the trust put in by Manning in such a sort of technical system at MK Dons speaks volumes about just the quality of the player, really, that Mansfield have brought in. I don't think he would have been out of place in the Championship if they'd gone up. And the 26-year-old's now going to be playing his trade for Mansfield in League Two. That has to be a massive signing for the Stags. And we've talked about today quite a lot about the momentum of transfer windows and these transformative signings. I think after that playoff final disappointment, their hopes sort of scrapped within that first half an hour with the 2 goals and the red card. A signing like this, it really just sort of transforms the narrative for them. And I think still just 26, a fantastic record in League Two in the past. All in all, just a really phenomenal signing for Mansfield. think we're having a few technical difficulties. Well, that is everything from myself and Billy on Football World TV. But we're not done for the day. Tune in at 4 p.m. for the EFL Transfer Zone with Sam Rourke, Adam Jones, and Ben Wignall. That just leaves me to say thanks, Billy, and thanks everyone for watching.